Riley Murph, great to meet you. Finally, Ben has told me a bunch of stuff about you. So you're a firefighter, and you have a 9/11 stair climb charity, and I'd love to dig in and learn more about you and it. Um, First, I'd love to learn about the event because obviously it's coming up in September.
Yeah.
What do folks need to know about that?
So the event is scheduled for September 13th this year. We try to do it on a Saturday around 9/11. 9/11 doesn't always fall on a Saturday, and it's hard for people to make it out on a weekday. So it's a pretty unique event. There's stair climbs that are all over the country to memorialize 9/11, right? Ours is a little different. We do it at night. It's hot here in the valley, right? So it adds a really cool vibe. It's at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick, and just we're in the stadium. You're down on Major League Baseball field grass. We got the lights, the billboard, the jumbotron. There's 1,500 people there on the grass, all climbing for one reason. People in turnouts, Academy flags, Phoenix trucks show up, Chandler trucks show up, Tempe guys, Queen Creek, firefighters from all over the state. We've had people come from out of the country to come to our event. It's amazing. It's a super amazing thing, and we're raising money not only for the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, but for East Valley firefighter charities. We have a lot of members in the East Valley, and this helps fill the gap, like what we were talking about. It benefits our relief fund. So if something happens to one of our guys, God forbid they get killed in the line of duty, they get job-related cancer, something happens, this money helps fill that gap from where, workers' comp and all those benefits and stuff just don't quite hit the mark all the time. By firefighters, for firefighters, that's what we say. A lot of the times those gaps are filled by guys like you doing stuff like this and us doing stuff like this. And it's all we can do is try. That's what we do. We try to take care of each other. So, but it's just a big event. Like I said, about 1,500 people get together and we climb. It takes about an hour and a half.
So this is like full gear, right?
It's open to the public, so you can come. We've got people bringing their little kids that weren't even born when 9/11 happened, right? Or they're teenagers at this point, I guess, right?
That's becoming more and more frequent, huh?
It's crazy.
We're old,
it's
dude.
crazy. We're getting there, man. We're getting there.
He's really old.
I'm so old.
Semi-old.
But it's you'll see just the public come out, or grandparents come to watch their kids do the climb or whatever.
But some firefighters do it in full gear?
Tons of them. Yeah, we got huge teams from, like I said, Chandler. Queen Creek has been a huge supporter of us. They'll bring 20 guys all turned out, packed out, doing it on air, suffering together. It's
how many floors is it? 100?
It's 2,071 steps, 110 floors. So it's basically 2 laps.
And how much is your gear? How much does your gear weigh?
It depends on what you carry, man. Some guys bring hotel packs, some guys bring tools. We had a wildland crew come out one year, Type 2 crew come out, and they did it with all their Pulaskis and their shovels and their fire shelters and all that. It's really cool. We've had some Army guys come out, and it's essentially 2 laps around the concourse in Salt River Fields, and you come back on the field and you do it again. So two laps total. That's awesome.
That is awesome. What is that?
That's right at the entry right there.
Dang, that's a cool event. How come we don't have a lot of fire trucks at our events?
We've had Phoenix guys come out.
There's a Phoenix truck right there.
Yeah, I think Jarrell Turner used to work for us. Actually, he brought his crew out. And, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's amazing, and so obviously you said 9 years you've been doing this now.
Yeah, so we started in
2015.
This is the 9th year. So we started in 2015. COVID happened. We had to take a year off or 2 years off or whatever it was for the whole COVID thing. So that put kind of a hitch in our giddy up. But yeah, it's been going strong every year. We did virtual stuff. I think when COVID happened, hey, you want to climb at home, you can still raise money, and those weren't very successful years for us. But we still did them. So we're saying this is our 9th year, and it's been a crazy journey. This thing has blown up and turned into something we never imagined.
Yeah, and you're raising a tremendous amount of money.
Yeah, we hit $120,000 last year, and then the year before, I think we hit $126,000. It just grows every year. It went from the story of kind of how it started was I was on probation. I just got picked up at Salt River from another department. And I was like, man, I need to do something for a probationary project, kind of the culture that we have, do something, right? So I was like, let's do this stair climb. So there's 15 of us that started in the stairway at Talking Stick Resort. That's where my station is right at the base. So we just made some shirts and made a little poster, and we all signed it, and let's climb, right? Just to remember. So we did 7.5 times up and down Talking Stick, full gear in this little enclosed hallway, just sweating like crazy. And it was amazing, like the camaraderie and the brotherhood that came from that. And then we said, we could actually do something with this and do some good from it and fill that gap. So I started doing some research on the internet and got a hold of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, and they help facilitate this. They do these all over the country. They have people from all different departments, Colorado and everywhere. and they're a huge proponent of this, and they help a lot. It's an amazing relationship we have with them.
Who helps you with that? Is this do the Diamondbacks and the Rockies get involved with that? I know you said Colorado.
You know, we have a ton of sponsors. The Diamondbacks and the Rockies, we use the stadium, Salt River Fields. We're trying to get them involved. Hopefully we can get them involved this year. They're busy. They got a lot of stuff going on. It's the sponsorship game for these events, as you guys know, it's a tough deal.
Yeah.
But I have a small team of people that help us. Terry Kubel, he's an engineer with us. He helps me. He's my right-hand man, and him and I pretty much, you know, kind of run the thing, but we have some support staff that work for the Salt River Tribe in their tourism division and their PR division, and they have been amazing. And the partners that we've met and the friendships and partnerships that we've kind of developed throughout this whole thing with people like you guys and just so many people that are like instrumental in making this thing happen. We have sponsors, repeat sponsors year after year after year that just show up for us, you know, like Creston Fire Wipes. He's there every year. KUPD and Larry McFeely and John Holmberg and those guys, we go to the radio station. They show up every year. They bring their booths. You know, Dan from ASR Construction, he's been with us since the beginning, you know, and now they're one of our big sponsors, and without them, like, we couldn't make this happen. And they show up, they bring their whole company, right? And they print their own shirts, and they have all the 9/11 logos on there and all the people that were killed on 9/11. And it's just, I got goosebumps talking about it. It's
so cool.
crazy.
Me too.
It's crazy the people that have gotten behind and supported this thing.
That's when it's cool too, when it grows beyond just the financial contribution and they actually get buy into the thing. Because that's what I've noticed too about even the research. We want to make sure we kind of cross our T's, dot our I's on looking up this event. And that was something I noticed, is that the companies that sponsored took a lot of pride in the fact that saying they were going to be out there as a company.
Yeah.
And that's when it ends up being really cool. I mean, look at where we're at right now. We're at Core, and they sponsor a ton of different things for us, and we trying to find a place to film this stuff, and like, come on over here. Like every single time when that you can tell they're bought into what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to cut you a check.
That's huge. Those relationships you build, people that want to be involved, right? I'm sure you get sponsors that are just, and not to bash sponsors, but a lot of times people are just in it. Yeah. They're in it just to cut a check and get the tax benefits, right? Yeah. The people that we've built these relationships with and that are involved with this event want to be there. And like you said, they show up, they bring their booths, they bring their people, they volunteer. They're in it for the right reason. And that's what we want. And we've built an amazing community around this event that helps a lot of people.
So you mentioned some people. Sorry,
nope, not at all.
You mentioned some people came from outside the country.
Yeah.
What's the story there?
It's, you know, we've met a couple and definitely some that come from outside the state as well. We'll be kind of running around putting out fires, so to speak, as registration's going on and people are checking in. And Terry and myself have kind of become, our repeat customers kind of know us, right? And then we introduce ourselves to people, and we just meet these new people every year, and people tell us our stories. A couple of years ago, we had a guy that was in an office building when the towers were hit, and he told us his story about what happened and what he went through as it was all going down. And he lives in Arizona now, and he's just like, told us his story, and we were just baffled by it. Yeah. It's amazing that, you know, he found our event, he was there, and he's like, I'll be here every year. This is what it's all about.
Wow,
it's crazy.
Just got chills.
The story he told us is mind blowing. So,
do you have any stories? Like, one of the things that we've really tried to focus on is getting people to understand the human side of things. Like, if you Google most anything going on, you can find the numbers, you can find the data. Everybody's familiar with 9/11. But what I know Patrick has tried to do, and what I've tried to at least assist him on, is trying to make a human connection with people. Are you able to share any stories about the money you raise and kind of the things that you've been able to do with that money?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, like I said, we split the money with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation and the East Valley Firefighter Charities. So I sit on the board for East Valley Firefighters Charities, and it's weekly that we get requests for, hey, firefighter broke their leg, firefighter got cancer, firefighter was killed. You know, Mark Keller in Mesa was died on duty last week. You know, those are the things that we do with that. And it doesn't matter if you're just in the East Valley or not. Something happens to a Phoenix guy, a Buckeye guy, a Glendale guy. You know, as you know, being part of 493, we all help each other, right? But on a national level too, the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, they'll give us a 9/11 family or a National Fallen Firefighter family, and they'll come out and they'll speak at our event. A couple of years ago, we had a lady whose dad died on the job, and the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation helped them out, and she came out and actually spoke and told us about how the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation helped her and her family out through the hard time. And then we had our own line of duty death relatively recently, Brendan Bissay. His dad is a captain out at Superstition, and you know, some of this money has helped. You can never fill the gap completely when you lose somebody, right? But get them through what they need to get through, and on the national level and on the local level. You know, it's just crazy. It's amazing how much we can do for these people with money, even though that will never replace the fallen that they've lost, right?
Yeah.
It helps make things a little bit easier to get through that challenging time.
Well, I think it's being able to focus solely on the grief portion of that, right?
Yeah.
Like I think the whole world deals with different tragedy and things like that. But what I've noticed about obviously what you're doing and what we've done in the union, when you talk about our cancer fund and all the funds, we do a really good job raising money and taking care of our own. But what that allows those people to do, it's not about bringing them back or making them feel better. It's allowing them to not have to think about the financial challenges that they're dealing with at the time. It allows them to solely focus on the family, on the grief, to be able to do the things they need to do in that hard situation to make it a little less hard.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know how to humanize that with what we're going, but undoubtedly I know in those circumstances, I mean, that's what you're doing, that they don't have to worry about co-pays. They don't have to worry about funeral expenses. They don't have to worry about all the different things that come up, that we're able, you know, not we, but you in this situation are able to assist those families with, so that they can focus solely on their loved one who's sick. They're, you know, grieving if they've lost somebody. So I think it's great what you're doing. And I love, to your point, I love the fact that we take care of each other. It's the best part of the job is that when things are bad, we take care of each other.
It is. And you know, that's it, man. It's the little bit that we can do to just try to help them out. You know what I mean? Even if it's somebody we've never met. You know, one of the big things with the stair climb is we wanted to make sure that we weren't grifting, and that some of this money went back to the FDNY, because we're memorializing them, and there's a lot of 9/11 stuff that takes advantage of 9/11, right?
Yeah.
So with the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation, a lot of this money goes back to the FDNY CSU program, the Counseling Services Unit program. So we're very proud of that we're an event that gives back to the FDNY, their members, right? And that's what this all kind of came from, is memorializing that. So we wanted to make sure that they were taken care of. And those are people we've never met, right?
Yeah.
I've got a couple buddies that I've met through social media and through training and all this that work for the FDNY, and they've taken advantage of the Counseling Services Unit, and they say it's an amazing program. So just hearing those secondhand stories of what they've gone through, and knowing that here on the other side of the country we can help them, right? To me, that's huge. And we take care of our local guys, right? It's you know, by firemen for firemen, no matter where you are.
I'm with you. And obviously we've done a lot of work, and what we're trying to do is remember some of our fallen. So I don't want to speak for them, but you know, the fact that people continue to remember the folks from 9/11 and those that were lost, hopefully that, you know, hopefully the people in New York, I mean, again, you're not bringing them back, but how cool is it to see that across the country, people still remember, they haven't forgotten. That's what we always speak, right? And never forget. What does that look like? It's like, it's not, don't forget for a while. It's never forget. And the fact that you continue doing that and other people are continuing to do that, I got to think that that's cool for those families that hear about the stories that are happening across the country, including yours.
Absolutely. And, you know, we have at the event, you get a name badge, and it's got a picture and the name and where their assignment was from somebody that was killed on 9/11. And you get to carry that badge, and it's on a little clip, and you can clip it to you wherever. You're symbolically completing that journey for them up the Twin Towers, right? And so people that have family that were killed in 9/11, they'll go and they'll search for their family, or they'll send us a request. Hey, this was my uncle. This was my cousin. Like, can you save his badge for me? And we'll save them, and we'll give it to them, meet them, listen to their story, you know, and they come back year after year, and they carry the badge, and they grab another one the next year, you know, and they're
That's
honoring
so cool.
their family member that was killed. And it's crazy. It's just, it's an amazing thing. I can try to describe it. It's really hard to describe the feeling that you get when you get there and you see these things and you meet these people.
Man, that's awesome.
What? I mean, interrupt you. You obviously you're a firefighter. I'd love to know a little bit more about you. Why you became a firefighter? How long you been a firefighter? What's been happening in your career? And just before we forget, just congratulations on the event and making it the success that it is. I know it's making a lot of impact.
You know, again,
it's a really well-run event from what I hear.
We try. You know, it's by firemen for firemen. You know, it's
there's gonna be a little bit of a shit show.
We're not professional fundraisers. We're not professional event coordinators. We do what we can.
Try.
Right?
We try.
Do. But it's not just me. You know, like I said, Terry, my right hand man, he's on shift today. He couldn't be here, but there's so many people that go into this. Unfortunately for me, I don't like being the spotlight, but somebody has to do these kind of things. I wish it could be somebody else. I don't really want any recognition from this at all, you know, but kind of is what it is. You got to do PR stuff to get it out there. You know what I mean?
Too late. You're here. You're going to get some recognition.
But you know, it's cool because I get to meet people like you and make connections, and that's what helps everything grow. I'm sure there will be good that'll come out of this for you. There will be good that'll come out of it for us. we all work together for the same common goal.
Yeah. I think it has to be somewhat, and that's what we've realized even with the Firefighter48 stuff, is if people don't know who's behind it, there's a lot of skepticism. So the fact that you're standing behind the product, I think people are like, oh, he's a firefighter. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We can support that. It's not a random thing that somebody's doing. Like the cause can be trusted. The whole reason you're there, it gives credibility to it. So I'm with you though. This is extremely uncomfortable for me to sit here.
It's hard.
Yeah, if I could just like block that
right.
camera. But yeah, it brings credibility to it, hopefully. So
it does.
Hopefully it helps.
We try to anyway. We do the best we can, but it's been very successful. So
it's unique. I think you guys
super cool. The second I heard about it, I'm like, "There's no way I could do that."
Cool. You could.
We're gonna make them.
Becky,
you better start training.
Becky over there is like, "Yeah,
you can do it."
Yeah.
And that's cool. It's not a race. It's not a competition. It's not. Some people come up and we've got, like I said, we got grandmas coming out and they just climb one flight of stairs and then
can do it,
and then they sit down and they just watch. It's do what you can. It's there to support, right? You're not racing or competing. It's just for the cause. Just show up, don't even climb. Who cares? Come out, buy a shirt.
Wait, what? And we might have covered this. I can't remember when we turned these things on and when we didn't. But what the details for this year? Do you want to share it and kind of where you're at in the planning process and what the dates are?
So we just had our first planning meeting with our team, the team at Salt River Fields, us, and the team from the Salt River community. And we established a date. September 13th, 2025 is going to be when it is. It's going to be at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. So we do like an early check-in the day before. You can come Friday night. I think it's going to start at 5 and like pick up your packet. We call it, like your shirt and your swag bag and your wristband and all that.
Is that when they get the ID too, or the?
Yeah, you can get that day. And then Saturday we'll open up at like 4 or 5. We're still trying to figure out exactly when we're going to open up. Opening ceremony start at 6:30. We have guest speakers. A lot of times the board members from the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation will come out. We've had Brian Jeffries. We've had Scott Figgins. We've had National Fallen Firefighter families, 9/11 families. We've had a bunch of different dignitaries come out. So opening ceremony started about 6:30, then climb starts at 7. And that's it. And then you just climb. KUPD's blasting their music, and you just do your thing, and then everybody goes home. Creston's there with fire wipes at the end, giving everybody wipes to wipe themselves down because they're all sweaty and stuff, and it's awesome.
What are you still in search for this year? What are you guys needing, or what would be? I know every year I would do events, and I'm sure you're the same. Is like you have this grand idea of like, what if this year we do this, and this, and then some of them pan out, some of them don't. But I mean, is there like a wish list or something you'd really love to do that you think you could use some help on?
And I hate to say it, but sponsors are always a big thing, right? The more money we can make, the more money we can give out and give back, right? Again, luckily we have a really good group of sponsors that sticks with us every year. And we've, aside from that, we've tried other things over the year. We've tried to change up the route. We've tried to bring in different things. We've done different sponsors, moved locations around, and now we've finally got like a package that works, right? Yeah. We know where we're putting our sponsors. We know KUPD is going to be here handing out wet bandanas for everybody, ice buckets dipping their arms in. We know Creston with fire wipes is at the end. We know all our sponsors are going to be lined up on the first and third baseline, and here's where the Arizona Ducati Club comes with their street bikes, and here's where Lerner and Row comes, and here's where ASR sets their easy up, and Earn Your Booze comes over here, and we got a formula that works. But just bringing new people in that want to be involved. If you sponsor, we allow you to set up a booth, and sponsorships are as small as $1,000, and it gets your name on a huge banner. When you're done with the climb, we have all the banners from all the years set up on the outfield, and people come and sign their names, and they take pictures, and they're looking at their names from the years before, and just we want people to be involved. We just want people to be there and celebrate these guys that gave their lives for the public, and be there for the cause.
How much of the year do you have to work on this project? When does it start? Like right after the last one gets finished?
It's never ending. Yeah. It's constantly. If it's not formal planning phases, we're texting, we're talking to people, we're building relationships. We try to be very organized, as organized as firemen can. So we have debriefs and meetings and planning meetings and logistics, and we run it just like a call, right? We use the ICS system. We got a logistics sector officer. We got a planning sector officer. We got a volunteer sector officer. It's nonstop year round, but it really ramps up about this time of year.
That's cool. We were touched on it earlier, but we got off track. But I was curious about your journey, when you became a firefighter, and what's your story?
Yeah, so I wasn't one of those kids that had family in the fire service. Kind of was a screw up growing up, got in trouble a lot and was kind of rowdy and all that. And then I was going to go to the military because that was my only answer, either that or be a welder. My dad's a welder. I grew up in a fabrication shop and doing stuff like that. I still do a lot of that on the side. But in high school, there was a program called NAVIT. It's like EVIT down here. Excuse me. And they were like, hey, this thing called fire science. And I had no idea what it was. This was in 2003. So I got in it and come to find out it was firefighting, right?
Where was this at?
Up in northern Arizona, up in a small town called Holbrook.
Okay.
Yep. So got involved with that. That was in 2003. I was a junior in high school. Got all my certs, got my 1 and 2, did all that. Got out of there, got my EMT, and then Holbrook had a volunteer department. There wasn't full time, 100% volunteer. And so got involved with the volunteer department. And then I got involved with Snowflake Taylor Fire, and then just kind of tried to progress my way up from this small town volunteer department to come down here working in the valley. Worked for Chin Fire for a while, worked for Eloy Fire for a while, and then finally got hired with Salt River in 2015. And yeah, that's kind of it. And then kind of working my way through the ranks of Salt River. I'm captain on ladder T93 at TRT station right now.
Congrats.
I was an engineer for about 6 months. I'm really heavily involved with the East Valley ladder training. I instruct with those guys a lot and just try to be involved. Like I said, I sit on the board for East Valley Firefighters Charities. This is the best career in the world. It's done tremendous things for me and my family. I love giving back. I love the job. I'm absolutely in love with every aspect of the job. It's amazing. I love coming to work. And that's pretty much it, man.
That's so cool. Are all the guys like this guy, like Riley?
Oh yeah, every single one.
Every single one.
Yeah,
every single one of us.
It's
Nobody has
amazing.
anything bad to say.
He's so into his job. He's so good at his job. And then outside of the job, he does, this 9/11 Memorial Stair Climb and gives back. I mean, that's like, he reminds me a lot of like you when I met you with United
When
States
you met me.
Firefighters.
It's all just kind of
Slowly downhill.
Yeah. I think if you ask it's what we sign up for.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
what he's describing is what we have talked about. It's living your interview. It's all the things he promised he was going to do when he got hired. And I think that by and large, bigger majority of our guys, like, that's what they do. But life happens like everybody else. You have kids and you have other challenges and you have, unfortunately, we have sicknesses. We're seeing a lot more and more now. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome when you hear about it. We always talk about living your interview, and it's clear that you're doing it.
And like when I got involved in the fire service, started learning about it back in 2003, 2004, on that volunteer department that I worked for, it's a small town, very tight knit community, right? And they do things like a 4th of July barbecue, and then back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they used to do make and breaks and fire musters, and they would compete and do all this stuff. And these were the old timers, right? The guys that I originally got exposed to the fire service through. And I mean, when you talk about, like, when you think of like a quintessential old timer firefighter, like that was these guys, right? Just when men were men, you know what I mean? And they had all these trophies in the fire station from all these fire musters and all these charity things they would do, and just all this memorabilia from 50 years of being involved in the community and doing things. And that has always stuck with me. And that's always been a key part of the fire service to me, is giving back to the profession that has given me so much, and then giving back to the communities we serve that allow us to live the lifestyle that we have and have the things that we have. And just giving back to me is, I just like it. It makes me feel good. It's this
Feeling good is a good feeling.
This career has given me so much. This little bit that I can do, which is really insignificant,
it's a lot.
It's a way to give back. You know what I mean? I don't know if that makes sense, but it's hard to explain. To me, it's part of the job, and it's part of who I am, and it's part of how I was brought up in this culture, and it's just is what it is.
Well, it's amazing. For anybody who wants to help your event or attend your event, where should they go for more information?
Yeah, you can go to the National Fallen Firefighters website. You can go to you can just Google it, Salt River Stair Climb. You can go to saltriverstairclimb.com, and it'll take you right to the registration page. My email's on there. You can get a hold of me. The registration site isn't up yet. It should be up June 1st or 2nd, I believe. Then just go sign up. It's $35. Get you a t-shirt, gets you into the event. You can buy shirts for $25 a piece. If you want to get involved, you want to volunteer, we need tons of volunteers. Just shoot us an email. Look at us on Instagram, on Facebook. We're all over the place. Just reach out. Love to have you.
Oh, sounds amazing, and we'll be there, obviously.
Cool.
And just, if I don't see you before that, just wishing you a great event, and keep up the great work, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it. I was talking to Ben, we'd love to have you guys out and have a booth, and we're doing the same work, just in different ways. We're headed to the same spot, just on a different road, and supporting you guys and you guys supporting us.
And we appreciate it.
It's all good stuff, right? Let's all get together and like you said, fill those gaps.
Heck yeah, man. All right. We'll talk to you.
Cool. Thanks.